persons who are intending to write mathematics in January 2025, I'm going to go through a breakdown of depending on when you're going to choose to start studying, or for those of you who may join a class or a school to help you in your studies, how much time per week on average you will need to spend to obtain that goal. So 4 to 1 month, and we're going to talk about the slow learners, the medium learners, the fast learners. And then each person will know whether they have that kind of time on their hands to cover maths to get at least a grade 2. Some people may get a grade 3 with all that time that they have to sacrifice, because again, maths has a lot to cover. Some may get a grade 1. It depends on if you're slow, fast, or medium, and whether you have any background knowledge in the subject. Furthermore, how recent you did the subject as well. Because if you did maths 10 years ago, you might remember next to nothing, right? If you did maths a year ago, you may remember some things, right? So all of that is going to affect how much time you spend per week in order to obtain your goal, right? I need you all to know, for those who are not aware, a normal week of 7 days has a total of 168 hours per week, which means based on the time frames I'm going to give, it may be possible for some of you to spend this kind of time, but then it depends on your life and work or school schedule, depending. If you are in school student doing about 6, 7, 8 subjects, if you are a repeater doing 1, 2, or whatever subjects, and then you have to work, or if you are a repeater doing subjects and you don't have to work. So remember that you are studying as the syllabus, mathematics syllabus, is usually covered in 2 school years, while students are in Form 4 and 5. So when you are covering that time frame of material in 4, 3 to 1 month, guess what? You're going to have to spend more time than normal. So here's how we're going. You don't want to die from stress. You don't want to, be giving your body too much of pressure. So you want to make sure and use your brain food and any other vitamin for your nervous system and stuff. But for people who like the last month thing, I know they out there, right? The crammers, the real last minute people. If you choose to study from December, which is a full month, and then you have a week or two in January, slow learners, 64 to 80 hours a week. That means you don't have no work, you don't work, you are home all the time. So the rest of the time you can spend sleeping, probably watching TV in terms of news, and then you have to sacrifice most of your time, probably 8, 12 hours a day or more, right? You have to break it down in days, right? But I have it in terms of weekly hours to cover as much as everything to either get a grade 2 or 3. It may take you to a grade 1 if you're a fast learner, this schedule, right? A medium learner, again, you should be working. You need to be home alone. Well, when I say home alone, home all the time, 48 to 64 hours weekly until the exams. A fast learner, 32 to 48 hours weekly until the exams. And this may take you, as I said, usually around a grade 2. Some might fall on a grade 3. If you're real good, you'll end up on a grade 1. But this is a pressure schedule because, again, you are trying to cover about 8 major topics, 8 or 9 of my head, major topics that usually some of these topics take 4, 6 weeks to cover. In a short period of time, you are going to be spending almost like a work day. So you need to be home all the time. I know some people like to work for Christmas. So if you have this last minute schedule and you think you can make it, forget it. Go for major. The long run will be a little bit more ease for you. So in closing, 3 tips that can help you pass maths. Of course, revise, revise, revise. I know some people don't like to revise, but revision is the only key that's going to help you remember what you learned. In order for you to pass, you need to remember what you learned by the time you are going into the exam. So revise, revise, revise. 2, keep up with your weekly schedule. So I give you all some estimates in terms of time. Whenever you choose to start classes or start studying if you're doing it on your own. Keep up with your time schedule. If you need to add more hours, add more hours. You will know, well, some people may know at least. If you don't know, if you're in my classes, you can ask me, I will give you some advice, right? But yeah, you need to keep up with your time schedule, avoid missing your study time or classes revision based on how much time you would be spending per week. Practice a lot of past papers. The more you practice past papers, the more confidence you'll be. Textbook, examples, and exercises are okay, but they are not the best. So practice a lot of past papers. Now, bonus tip is this. If you can afford it, pay for classes. It don't have to be with us. There are many schools in Trinidad and Tobago. Some of you are from different parts of the Caribbean. There are other teachers who teachers or tutors who offer mathematics and different subjects. But we're talking mainly about mathematics because you know this is the big boy, right? In Trinidad and Tobago, actually in the Caribbean, only 36% of students pass maths this year, May, June. So yeah, if you can afford it, either pay for classes with whoever you choose to, because that will help you, especially if you lack discipline. So some people might start a hot and sweaty week when they're spending 12 hours a week. By next week or the end of the month, they die down like Baji. So what I'm saying is, if it is you can afford it to keep you on top of your game, pay for classes wherever you choose,